Hello guys, in this video we'll have a look at increment and decrement operators and pre-increment and post-increment and pre-decrement and post-decrement operators. They are pretty much the same, but I will show you how and when you use them and why you use them, and I will explain you this all in this video. But the main thing what we do with increment operator and with decrement operator is we add something to value or to number value, or we take off from number value. And to do this, let's create one variable, and I will call this variable number. Okay, and we could give it some value, let's say 5. Let's store in this variable number value 5, so we will store number 5. And now I will show you what is increment. So to increment this we can use two plus signs. It might not make sense at this stage, but when we will start working with loops, and this will be in a couple of further tutorials, you will understand the meaning and where we use these increment and decrement operators, and they are quite useful. But they are like I said, they allow us to only add one to particular number, or decrease or subtract only one from particular number. So let's have a look how it looks, and let's create this number variable again, and let's increment it. And to do this we simply use plus sign and then semicolon. And now we used on this number variable increment operator. Okay, and now let's have a look what has happened if we echo out this number variable on the screen. Okay, number, and if we save this, let's open this in our browser now, refresh, and you see that 6 is displayed on the screen. And you understand that we actually incremented it by 1, and this is the purpose, to increment. But there is understanding of pre-increment and post-increment, and what does it mean is as follows. If you want, when you are running some statement, for example, and when you want to increment it before you run that statement, you use these increment or decrement values before this variable. Okay, for example, if we would now, let's comment out this number where we are incrementing it, and let's increment, let's say here where we are echoing out it straight away. Okay, let's use these two plus signs or this increment operator. Okay, let's save it, and now you might think that now it will be 6 as well, but if we refresh you see that it is only 5 displayed on the screen. And this is because when we are using this increment or these two plus signs after the variable, then it is post increment. It means that if we use two plus signs after this particular variable, it will not increment it when the statement runs, but it will at first run the statement, which is number, and only then it will increment. And to do this we can echo out another variable number without this increment operator, and you will see that now it will actually display 6 on the screen. But to do this and to make this second number to appear in new line, let's simply create a string and concatenate it, and we will talk about concatenation in next video. And let's add br tag, simply break tag, which is HTML break tag in string value. As you see, we are using these quotation marks, and then we are using this dot with which we are adding this number. And this basically will use this br from HTML to put this second number which we are putting displaying on the next line under this first. So we will have 5 and 6, because like I mentioned before, here when the statement runs it will not increment because we are using these plus signs after this particular variable. This is post increment. Okay, let's save this now. Let's go back to our browser, refresh, and you see 5 and 6 is displayed on the screen, because when it runs here this statement, it is echoing out 5, and only then it is incrementing this particular variable. And here with second echo we simply echoing out on the screen 6 when it's already this 5 or this number has been incremented by 1. But for example, if we would use these plus signs before this variable, okay, here, and we will echo it out, then this is known as in PHP as pre-increment. This means that at first it will increment this number and then it will display it on the screen. So this means that here straight away we will increment it and display. So it will be 6, and here with second statement, as we are not doing anything with this variable, it will display 6 as well on the screen. So let's save this and let's go back to our browser, refresh, and you see 6, and 6 is displayed on the screen. And the same applies to decrement. And decrement is just two minus signs. If you want it to, let's say, subtract something from this number, you straight away when you are executing, you are using pre-increment, which is two minus signs before this particular variable. And this will be 5 minus 1, because like I said, it's only increments and decrements by 1. It can't increment by more than 1. So it will be 5 minus 1, and it will display 4 here. And as number value is 4 and we are not doing anything with it in this second, it will display 2 4s on the screen. So let's save it. Let's go back to browser, refresh, and we see 4, and 4 is displayed on the screen. But if we would use this minus after this variable, this is post decrement or post decrement. It means that at first it will just display this 5 on the screen, but it will not subtract 1, or it will not decrement this particular number. It will display it and then it will subtract that number, and only then when we are echoing out at the second time it will display 4. So it will be first time it will be displayed 5, then it will display it, echo it on the screen, then it will subtract 1, it will make it 4, and then second echo statement will display this 4 on the screen. So let's save this, let's go back to our browser, refresh, and see first is displaying 5 because we are using post decrement, and then with second echo we are displaying this 4 when this number has been subtracted or decremented by 1. And this is pretty much how increment and decrement operators work in PHP. And like I mentioned before, they are just adding or subtracting. And pre-increment and post-increment, or pre-decrement and post-decrement, means just when you want, whether you want to do it straight away with this particular number or value which is stored in this variable, or you want to at first display whatever value is in it and then do it and leave in that number whatever value you want after. But like I said, this at this point might not make sense because it's just adding or subtracting something, but when we will start working with loops, you will understand that this increment and decrement is quite useful. Okay guys, if you found this video useful as well, please subscribe to this channel and share this video, like this video, and see you in my other videos.